Auraenabled is an Apex annotation that lets your Lightning Web components call Apex methods. As you can see in my Apex class, I have two methods. Let's just focus on the Hey everyone, in today's video, we're diving into two important topics in Salesforce development, that is Aura-enabled Apex annotation and the track decorator for reactivity in LWC. These are key features to making your Apex calls efficient and your UI responsive. So let's get started with it. Aura-enabled is an Apex annotation that lets your Lightning Web components call Apex methods. But there is an important option here, that is cacheable true or cacheable false. Cacheable true means that the method's return data can be saved or cached on the client side. This makes your app faster by using the cache data for repeated requests instead of calling the server every time. As you can see in my Apex class, I have two methods. Let's just focus on the first method for now, that is get accounts. So it has an input of a search key. When it receives an input, it will run a query and retrieve all the accounts that are like the search key. It's a pretty simple method, and here it is a fetch query. So it is the whole method. What it does, it fetches data from Salesforce. In an ideal case, this has to be cacheable, because if it is not cacheable, it will run the fetch query again and again on every key press. Let's see it in action. As you can see, I have cacheable true commented out, and it is not cacheable. By default, if you don't give it a cacheable option, it will consider it as cacheable false. Let's see it in action. Right, I have a simple application here that have a search option, and if I search for new name here, it will give me some results, and in the network tab of my inspector, you can see it made a few requests. Let's just clear this out and let's edit our search query and see how many more requests it makes. As you can see, it made like 10-15 queries just for one search. This is happening because our cacheable is false, and whenever I edit my query, it will constantly make more and more network calls, which reduces efficiency and increases load on the servers. So to counter this, what we do is we just add this property of cacheable true on my get accounts. Let's go back to our application and hard reload here. Now if I search for the same command, that was new name, as you can see on the first search it did call multiple requests, but now if I edit this name, it did not call many requests. It's on 30, and if I again call name, it still stays on 30 because that search has been cached, and it will always show me the cached data. You can verify this by going into the request and scrolling down, and it says cacheable true, so our property has been applied. And if I make any new search, for example I add a digit to it, then it will give me as a new search. But now if I go back to name, it will give me the cached result and not make a new search on it. So that's how the cacheable true property reduces the load and increases efficiency of your searches and fetches from Salesforce data. But this cacheable should only be true on fetch queries and not for CRUD operation queries that are modifying or deleting or creating any data. So as you can see, my second method in this class updates the account name. By default, it doesn't have any cacheable properties enabled, so it will take it as cacheable false. This method should take cacheable false because it is doing a modify on my account name. So let's see how it works first. Once we search for a name here, for example Pyramid Constructions Incorporation, I would just click update first account name. Once I click it, a call has been made and it updates the name to new name 20. We can test this by refreshing the page, and now we shouldn't have any company named Pyramid. Perfect, we don't have any. And if we search for our new name, it should have a new name 20. So it has been renamed successfully. Now let's see what happens if I enable the cacheable property on CRUD operation and I make it true. Once I deploy this, we can test it, and what I am expecting from this is that it will try to run this query again and again on the cache data, and it will fail by giving an DML exception of too many queries. So let's hard reload this, go to any new name, or let's look for some new, I have a Grand Hotels. Now if I click the update first account name button again, it will try to update the account name again and again, and it will give me an error of too many DML statements. Because the data is cached, it tries to run the modify query again and again on the same data, and which exceeds the Salesforce governor limits of querying an update, and this results in an error. So if you accidentally use cacheable true on a method that modifies the data, it will give you stale UI, wrong information, or most of the times it will give you an error of too many DML queries. Now if we go back to the LWC, we can see that all of our arrays and our variables are initialized with a track decorator. This track decorator makes sure that changes to the accounts array or search key or errors are instantly updated on the UI. The track decorator makes properties reactive when their value changes. So the UI updates and reflects those changes. But in recent LWC versions, these simple properties and objects are by default reactive and they don't specifically need the add track decorator. So even if we remove this from here, it will work as expected. But it's best practice to be safe always. So here I have a handle search change that takes in an event and updates the search key accordingly. The search key is then sent to get accounts, and once we get a result, we feed it to accounts. Our accounts array is decorated with track. So once anything is updated in this accounts, the track catches it and updates the UI accordingly, which is why we see instant reactivity on the UI when we are searching for any account name. Alright, so to wrap it up, remember to use Aura-enabled cacheable true only when your Apex method just retrieves data for faster UI loading through caching, and cacheable should remain false, or you can just omit it when you are doing any CRUD operations in your Apex methods. Also, the track decorator, when you want the UI to react and change instantly in an LWC, use the track decorators for your arrays or variables. And by default, nowadays in latest LWC updates, we don't even need to use the track decorators. So you can just omit it and write your array name. It will already be tracking it. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe for more Salesforce tutorials. Stay tuned for future videos.